Welcome back to another episode of the Peak Performance Podcast. I'm Brad Young, and today we're going back, and I mean way back, further than any gym membership, further than any macro tracking app, further than the invention of the treadmill or the protein shake or the ergonomic office chair. Today we're going back to the raw, unfiltered, primal version of the human body, the version that was built not to look good in fluorescent lighting, but to survive, to hunt, to move, to thrive. Today's episode is about training like a caveman and getting your health back in the process. Why we went wrong. Let's be honest about something. Modern life has made us soft. Not soft in the way people throw the word around as an insult, but soft in a deeply biological, physiological sense. Our bodies were designed over hundreds of thousands of years to do very specific things: walk long distances, sprint when threatened, lift and carry heavy objects, climb, swim, rest under open sky, and eat real food that had to be worked for. Not a single part of that design has changed. Our DNA is virtually identical to the humans who roamed the earth 50,000 years ago, and yet the average American today sits for more than 10 hours a day, eats food that comes in bags and boxes with ingredient lists that read like chemistry exams, and considers a walk from the parking lot to the office door a reasonable daily movement quota. The consequences are everywhere: chronic back pain, metabolic dysfunction, obesity, anxiety, sleep disorders, low testosterone, poor posture, and what doctors politely call lifestyle diseases, which is just a medical way of saying we are living in a way that is slowly killing us. The solution isn't a new supplement stack or a celebrity trainer's 12-week program. The solution is simpler and older than any of that. The solution is to go back to what we were built for. Primal training isn't a trend, it's a return to factory settings. Understanding why we went wrong is the first step toward fixing it. The Industrial Revolution gave us machines that replace physical labor. The digital revolution gave us screens that replace movement. The food industry gave us hyper-processed calories that replace nutrition. Every decade since the mid 20th century, average physical output has dropped and average caloric intake from poor food sources has risen. We didn't get here because we were lazy. We got here because the world around us changed faster than our instincts could keep up. Recognizing that is powerful because it means the path back is real. It's available to anyone, and it doesn't require it as a gym membership or a diet plan that costs $200 a month. What primal training actually means: move naturally, walk, sprint, climb, crawl, carry. Prioritize multi joint movements that your body was built to perform without machines or guided tracks. Movement should feel like survival, not exercise. Lift heavy things. Not necessarily barbells, though those work fine. Rocks, logs, sandbags, your own body weight. The goal is to challenge the body under load in functional patterns that build real world strength. Rest deliberately. Recovery is not laziness. Ancient humans worked hard and rested hard. Sleep, sunlight, stillness, and nature exposure are as much a part of primal training as the physical effort itself. Eat like you earned it. Whole foods, real protein, seasonal vegetables, occasional fasting. Nutrition primed for performance, not convenience. No labels, no packaging, no ingredients you cannot pronounce. Primal training is not about dressing in animal skins or rejecting modern medicine. It is about understanding what the human body was designed to do and building a lifestyle that honors that design. It is about stripping away complexity and returning to the fundamentals of movement, food, rest, and stress. When you train primally, you train the whole organism, not just the muscle groups on your vanity list. The core movement patterns. Every primal workout, whether you're 20 years old or 65, is built around a small set of foundational movement patterns. These patterns existed long before machines, long before personal trainers, long before anyone thought to put a mirror on a gym wall. They are the vocabulary of the human body. And if you can speak them fluently, you can rebuild almost any level of fitness from almost any starting point. The first pattern is the squat. Sitting in a deep squat is one of the most natural resting positions for the human body. In many traditional cultures around the world, people squat to rest, to cook, to work, and to socialize. The modern chair has essentially eliminated this position from most Western lives, and our hips, knees, and lower backs have suffered enormously for it. Reintroducing the squat, body weight at first, then loaded progressively, is foundational to primal movement. The second pattern is the hinge, bending at the hips with a neutral spine to pick something up, lower something down, or generate explosive power from the posterior chain. Deadlifts, kettlebell swings, good mornings, these all train the hinge. Your ancestors hinged constantly, picking up animals, gathering food from the ground, pulling roots from soil. The hinge is life. Third is the push. Horizontal pushing, like a push up. Vertical pushing, like pressing something overhead. These train the chest, shoulders, and triceps, but more importantly, they train you to move objects away from your body. A survival skill as old as conflict itself. Fourth is the pull, pulling yourself up, pulling things towards you. Rows and pull ups dominate here. Fifth is the carry, walking under load. Farmers carry heavy things, hunters carry kills. Your body is built to carry weight across distance, and nothing builds functional strength and conditioning quite like it. And finally, there is the sprint, short, explosive, maximum effort bursts of speed. Not jogging, not steady state cardio, the kind of running you'd do if something was either chasing you or running away from you. Workout plan: the young athlete, ages 16 to 29. Monday, power and speed. Start with 5 minutes of barefoot walking to activate the feet. Sprint 10 by 30 meters with 90 seconds of rest between each. Then perform 3 sets of heavy goblet squats, 3 sets of explosive broad jumps, and finish with a farmer's carry for 100 meters using whatever you can load. Wednesday, pull and climb. 15 minutes of light, hiking or walking. Then perform 4 sets of pull-ups to near failure. Follow with 3 sets of rows using a bar or rings. Add 3 sets of dead hangs for grip and shoulder health. Finish with a tree climb or rope climb if available. Stays down or substitute with towel rows for added grip challenge. Friday, push and carry. Begin with 3 sets of push-ups, perform slowly and with control. Then load a sandbag or backpack and perform 3 sets of overhead press. Follow with 3 rounds of a circuit, 10 dips, 10 pike push-ups, and a 60-second plank. End with a 20-minute loaded walk outdoors carrying anything heavy and practical. Saturday, primal play. This session has no structure by design. Go outside, swim, hike, climb rocks, play a pickup sport, wrestle with friends, throw things. The point is unstructured full body movement that challenges you without a program telling you what to do. Play is primal, never underestimated. For young athletes, volume and intensity can be high. Recovery is fast, adaptation is rapid, and the primary goal is to build movement patterns and aerobic base that will serve you for decades. Sleep 8 to 9 hours, I'd eat aggressively, keep processed food minimal, and prioritize protein at every meal. Workout plan: the Prime Builder, ages 30 to 45. By your 30s, you've probably noticed that recovery isn't quite what it used to be. The good news is that this decade is still prime territory for building serious functional strength and conditioning. The key shift is that you now need to be smarter about recovery and more intentional about movement quality. This doesn't mean going easier, it means going more purposefully. Monday, strength foundation, hip hinge work. 3 sets of 5 heavy deadlifts or sandbag deadlifts. Squat variation, 3 sets of 8 goblet or barbell squats. Farmer's carry, 3 rounds of 40 meters. Rest 2 minutes between each heavy set and focus on perfect form above all else. Wednesday, upper body pull. 4 sets of pull-ups or assisted pull-ups. 3 sets of single arm rows with a heavy implement. 2 sets of face pulls or band pull-aparts for shoulder health. 30 minutes of moderate outdoor walking to close the session. Friday, push and core. 3 sets of push ups with a 2-second pause at the bottom. 3 sets of overhead press, plank series, front, left side, right side, 1 minute each. Hollow body holds for 3 sets of 30 seconds. This session should feel controlled and powerful, not rushed. Sunday, active recovery. A 45 to 60-minute hike, preferably on uneven terrain. No headphones, no phone, just movement and environment. This session resets the nervous system and connects you to the outdoor experience that primal training is rooted in. Prioritize sleep above everything else in this age range. 7 to 9 hours is non negotiable. Your hormones, including testosterone and growth hormone, are regulated primarily by sleep quality. Intermittent fasting can be highly effective in this decade, particularly a 16-hour fast with an 8-hour eating window. Workout plan: The Wise Warrior, from ages 46 to 60. Here's where the mainstream fitness conversation usually gets it very wrong. Most programs designed for people in their 40s and 50s are either too gentle to produce meaningful results, or they're scaled down versions of programs designed for younger athletes that don't account for the hormonal and connective tissue changes that come with this season of life. Primal training offers a third way: challenging, purposeful, and deeply rooted in what the body actually needs as it matures. Movement first, load second, and before adding any weight to a movement, earn the movement. Spend the first 2 weeks of any new program with body weight only drilling technique in the squat, hinge, push, and pull patterns. Joint health is your most valuable long term asset. Protect it like the treasure it is. 3 days of structured training. Monday focuses on lower body goblet squats, step ups, hip hinges, and loaded walking. Wednesday focuses on upper body, push ups, rows, face pulls, and overhead work with moderate weight. Friday is full body, a circuit of 1 squat, 1 pull, 1 push, and 1 carry performed for 3 to 4 rounds with controlled rest. Daily non negotiable movement. Every single day, regardless of training schedule, includes at least 30 minutes of walking on natural terrain. This is not exercise, this is maintenance of the most basic human function. Walking regulates blood sugar, supports joint lubrication, moderates cortisol, and feeds the parasympathetic nervous system. Make it sacred. Breathwork and mobility. Every session begins with 5 minutes of intentional nasal breathing and ends with 10 minutes of ground based mobility work: hip circles, thoracic rotations, and deep squat holds. This investment in the beginning and end of training pays enormous dividends in how you feel in the hours and days that follow. Workout plan: The Elder Athlete, ages 61 and beyond. There is a persistent cultural myth that once you reach a certain age, physical decline is inevitable and irreversible. Science says otherwise, and primal training says otherwise even louder. The human body retains a remarkable capacity for adaptation at any age, provided that the stimulus is appropriate, the recovery is respected, and the mindset supports the work. You are not too old, you are just getting started with a different chapter. The Elder Athlete program centers on 4 pillars: daily movement, functional strength, twice per week, balance and coordination work, and deliberate recovery. Daily movement means walking, ideally 30 to 60 minutes on varied terrain at a comfortable but purposeful pace. This single habit, performed consistently, has been shown in research, study after research study, to reduce all cause mortality, improve cognitive function, support heart health, and maintain musculoskeletal integrity more effectively than almost any other single intervention available to humans. Twice per week, the Elder Athlete engages in functional resistance training. This means sit to stand exercises, step ups, wall push ups, progressing to floor push ups, resistance band rows, and single leg balance work. The goal is not to build a physique. The goal is to maintain independence, resilience, and quality of life. Every exercise chosen has a direct real world application. Can you get up off the floor if you fall? Can you carry your own groceries? Can you climb stairs without holding the railing? These are the benchmarks that matter most in this season of life. Balance and coordination are the difference between aging gracefully and aging fearfully. Single leg stands, heel to toe walks, lateral shuffles on grass, and gentle agility ladder work all belong in this program. And recovery, meaningful intentional recovery, means sleeping 8 hours, eating protein at every meal, spending time in sunlight, maintaining social connection, and engaging in activities that bring deep joy. Stress is just as catabolic as overtraining. Managing it is part of the program. The primal diet, going back to real food. You cannot outtrain a bad diet. That's as true for a 22-year-old athlete as it is for a 65-year-old elder. And the primal approach to nutrition is both simpler and more satisfying than anything you'll find on the shelves at a bookstore or behind a paywall at a nutrition coaching website. The core principle is devastatingly simple. Eat food that exists in nature, in a form close to how nature made it, in amounts that match your energy output. What did our ancestors eat? They ate animals, including the organs, the fat, the marrow, and the skin. They ate fish and shellfish. They ate eggs. They ate seasonal vegetables and roots. They ate fruit when it was available, which was not year round and not in the concentrated sugar forms we consume today. They ate nuts and seeds in small amounts. They did not eat bread 3 times a day, drink sweetened beverages, eat from plastic packaging, or consume anything that required a factory to produce. Their relationship with food was one of effort, gratitude, and genuine nutrition. For the modern primal eater, this translates into building meals around quality protein sources, grass-fed beef, wild-caught fish, pasture-raised eggs, and free-range poultry. It means filling the remainder of the plate with vegetables, particularly leafy greens, root vegetables, and cruciferous varieties. It means using healthy fats generously. Olive oil, coconut oil, butter from grass-fed cows, avocado, and the fat that naturally occurs in quality animal protein. And it means treating fruit as a seasonal, occasional pleasure rather than a daily staple or a substitute for dessert. The power of fasting. Your oldest reset button. Hours 0 to 4. Digestion and absorption of the last meal. Blood sugar stabilizes. Insulin levels begin to fall. Hours 4 to 8. Liver glycogen begins to be used for fuel. The body starts transitioning toward fat metabolism. Mental clarity often improves. Hours 8 to 16. Fat oxidation increases significantly. Ketone production begins. Cellular cleanup processes called autophagy ramp up. Inflammation markers drop. Hours 16 to 24. Deep autophagy. Growth hormone spikes. Insulin sensitivity improves dramatically. This is the sweet spot of metabolic reset for most healthy adults. Our ancestors did not eat 3 square meals a day with 2 snacks in between. They ate when food was available, which was not always that going without food for extended periods was not suffering. It was simply Tuesday. And the human body adapted beautifully to this reality by developing extraordinary metabolic flexibility. The ability to run on glucose when it was available and switch to fat when it wasn't. Intermittent fasting is not a diet hack invented by biohackers in Silicon Valley. It is the most natural eating pattern the human body has ever known. Reintroducing periods of intentional food abstinence is one of the most powerful interventions available for metabolic health, body composition, inflammation reduction, and even cognitive performance. Intermittent fasting protocols by age. Fasting is not one size fits all, and applying the same protocol to a 20-year-old athlete and a 60-year-old elder is not primal wisdom. It's just laziness. Here's how to approach fasting intelligently at different stages of life, always keeping the goal in mind: metabolic flexibility, cellular health, and sustainable energy. Ages 16 to 29. A 12 to 14 hour overnight fast is ideal for most young athletes. Eat dinner by 8 in the evening and breakfast around 8 or 10 in the morning. This captures the benefits of fasting without compromising the caloric surplus often needed for growth and performance. Extended fasting beyond 16 hours is generally unnecessary at this stage and may impair muscle building in those training at high volumes. Ages 30 to 45. The 16 to 8 protocol, 16 hours fasting, 8 hours eating, is the gold standard for this decade. Most people achieve this by skipping breakfast and eating their first meal around noon, then finishing eating by 8 in the evening. This protocol is well researched, practical, and produces significant improvements in insulin sensitivity, body composition, and metabolic efficiency without requiring major lifestyle disruption. Ages 46 to 60. A 14 to 16-hour fast works well for most people in this range. Pay attention to how you feel during training. If fasted workouts leave you feeling depleted and foggy rather than clear and capable, eat a small protein rich meal before training and push the fast into non training hours. Women in perimenopause should approach extended fasting conservatively as hormonal dynamics can be more sensitive to significant caloric restriction. Ages 61 and beyond. A 12-hour overnight fast is appropriate for most elder athletes. Extended fasting beyond 14 hours should be approached carefully and ideally discussed with a physician, particularly for those managing chronic conditions or on medications that interact with food timing. The priority at this stage is adequate protein intake and consistent daily nourishment to support muscle maintenance and immune function. Protein, the non negotiable macro. If there is one nutritional principle that is unassailable across every age group, every training style, and every health goal, it is this: you almost certainly need more protein than you think you do. The standard government recommendations for protein intake were built around preventing deficiency, not around optimizing performance, body composition, muscle retention, immune function, or cognitive health. They are the bare minimum to survive, not the target to thrive. Athletes under 40 aim for between zero point 0.8 and 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight daily. A 180-pound athlete should be eating between 144 and 180 grams of protein each day. Spread it across meals. The body can only utilize so much protein synthesis per meal window, and spreading intake maximizes muscle protein synthesis throughout the day. Adults over 40. Anabolic resistance, the reduced efficiency with which older muscle responds to protein, means that adults over 40 actually benefit from slightly higher protein intake relative to body weight. Aim for 1 gram per pound of body weight as the floor and do not fear going higher. This is perhaps the single most impactful nutritional adjustment an older adult can make for preserving muscle mass and vitality. Best protein sources. Prioritize animal protein: beef, bison, lamb, venison, salmon, sardines, eggs, and poultry. These sources provide complete amino acid profiles, including leucine, the amino acid most responsible for triggering muscle protein synthesis. Plant proteins can be included but should not be the primary source for anyone serious about performance or aging robustly. What to eat and what to eliminate. Primal nutrition is not about counting calories or obsessing over macronutrient ratios down to the decimal point. It is about food quality and food choices made with intention and knowledge. The goal is to build a plate that our ancestors would recognize as food and to eliminate anything they would not. That framework is simple and surprisingly powerful as a decision making tool in the grocery store or restaurant. Or eat abundantly. Grass fed and pasture raised meats, wild caught fish, whole eggs, organ meats, leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, root vegetables like sweet potatoes and carrots, olives and olive oil, avocado, nuts and seeds in moderation, berries, and fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, and plain yogurt. These foods support every system in the human body and have been part of the human diet for the entirety of our existence as a species. Eat occasionally. White rice, seasonal fruit, raw honey, dark chocolate above 85% cacao, legumes prepared traditionally through soaking and cooking, and moderate amounts of full fat dairy from quality sources. These foods are not poison, but they are also not the foundation of primal nutrition. Treat them as additions to an already strong nutritional base, not as staples. Eliminate completely. Industrial seed oils, including canola, soybean, corn, and sunflower oil. Refined sugar in all its forms, processed grains, including bread, pasta, cereal, and crackers made from refined flour. Artificial sweeteners. Fast food. Any food that lists more than 5 ingredients on its label, particularly if those ingredients include words you cannot pronounce. These are not foods, they are industrial products, wearing the costume of food. Sleep, the primal superpower most people ignore. Here's the uncomfortable truth about sleep in the context of performance. No training program, no nutritional strategy, no supplement, and no biohacking protocol will ever compensate for chronic sleep deprivation. Sleep is not a passive state. It is the most active and important recovery process the human body performs. During sleep, your brain consolidates memories and clears metabolic waste products. Your body releases growth hormone, rebuilds damaged muscle tissue, calibrates your immune system, regulates cortisol, and resets the hormonal environment that governs everything from appetite to mood to testosterone production. Go to sleep with the dark. Our ancestors had no artificial light after sunset. Darkness was the signal for sleep, and the body evolved to respond to it by releasing melatonin and dropping core body temperature. Using bright screens late into the evening, keeping lights blazing in your home at 10 at night, and then wondering why you can't fall asleep is the modern equivalent of trying to start a fire in the rain. Dim your environment after sunset. Use warm, low lighting. Put the phone away. Sleep in the cold and dark. The optimal sleep environment is cool, between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit, and completely dark. Even small amounts of light exposure during sleep can disrupt melatonin production and sleep architecture. Blackout curtains are one of the best investments you can make for your health. A cool room is not a comfort preference. It is a biological requirement for deep restorative sleep cycles. Consistency is the variable that matters most. Going to sleep and waking up at the same time every day, including weekends, is the most powerful thing you can do to improve sleep quality over time. Your circadian rhythm is a biological clock that regulates virtually every system in your body. When you keep it consistent, everything works better. When you disrupt it with irregular sleep schedules, you create a state that researchers call social jet lag, and its consequences are wide ranging and serious. The role of stress, the invisible predator. Ancient humans experienced stress acutely and then it was over. The predator either caught them or it didn't. The hunt either succeeded or it didn't. Stress was designed to be a short, intense physiological response that mobilized resources for survival and then resolved. The cortisol spiked, the adrenaline fired, the body moved, the threat passed, and homeostasis returned. This is acute stress, and the human body handles it beautifully. What the human body does not handle well, what it was never designed for, is chronic, low grade, unresolved stress. The kind that comes from financial worry, relationship dysfunction, an unfulfilling job, constant digital stimulation, political anxiety, social comparison, and the relentless pressure of modern expectations. Chronic stress keeps cortisol elevated around the clock, and chronically elevated cortisol is one of the most destructive forces in human physiology. It breaks down muscle tissue, promotes fat storage, particularly around the abdomen, suppresses the immune system, disrupts sleep, impairs digestion, accelerates aging, and creates the biochemical environment for depression and anxiety. Primal stress management is not about bubble baths and scented candles, though rest and comfort have their place. It is about creating real resolution for stress through physical movement, time in nature, genuine social connection, meaningful work, deliberate rest, and the cultivation of a life that is aligned with your values rather than the expectations of others. Walk in the woods, sit by moving water, lift heavy things and put them down. Eat food that you prepared yourself. Sleep in the dark. Be still. These are the stress management tools that our nervous system was built to respond to. They work because they are what we are. Sunlight, grounding, and cold exposure. Morning sunlight 10 to 20 minutes of direct morning sunlight without sunglasses as early as possible after waking sets your circadian rhythm, triggers serotonin production, and begins the cascade of hormonal events that govern your entire day. This was not optional for our ancestors. It should not be optional for us. Grounding, walking barefoot on natural surfaces, grass, soil, sand, or rock, so allows the transfer of electrons from the earth into the body, which research suggests has genuine anti inflammatory and nervous system calming effects. Our ancestors never wore rubber soled shoes that insulated them from the earth's surface. Reconnecting to the ground, even briefly, is an underappreciated recovery tool. Cold exposure, cold showers, cold plunges, or winter swimming trigger norepinephrine release, boost brown adipose tissue activity, improve insulin sensitivity, reduce inflammation, and sharpen mental focus. Our ancestors endured cold as a matter of survival. Regular intentional cold exposure is one of the fastest ways to recalibrate your nervous system and build genuine mental toughness. Building your primal week, a template for any age. The beauty of primal training is that it does not require a rigid, complicated schedule. It requires intention, consistency, and alignment with the natural rhythms of the body and the environment. The following template works as a framework. Adjust the intensity, volume, and specific exercises based on your age group and current fitness level, using the age specific programs outlined earlier in this episode. Monday, structure strength training session, lower body focus, squats, hinges, loaded carries, 30 minutes minimum outdoors, walking before or after. Tuesday, active recovery, long walk on natural terrain, preferably for 45 to 60 minutes. Mobility work, breath work, no structured training. Wednesday, upper body training session, pull dominant, rows, pull ups, grip work, moderate sprint session or short hill walk to finish. Thursday, rest or very light movement. This is a recovery anchor day. Protect it. Sleep more, eat well, spend time in nature without any performance agenda. Friday, full body session, push emphasis plus a carry variation, circuit format for conditioning. Keep intensity high but controlled. Saturday, primal play, unstructured outdoor movement, hike, swim, throw, climb, sport, exploration. Let your body move freely and joyfully. Sunday, full rest, sleep in, eat a nourishing meal, spend time with people you care about, prepare mentally and physically for the week ahead. The mindset of the primal athlete. None of the physical and nutritional practices in this episode will stick without the right mindset underneath them. And the mindset of the primal athlete is fundamentally different from the mindset that most modern fitness culture promotes. Modern fitness culture is built on transformation anxiety, the idea that you are currently broken, insufficient, and need to be fixed. Buy this program, take this supplement, follow this influencer, become this body type. It is a mindset built on deficit, and it produces neither peak performance nor genuine health. The mindset of the primal athlete starts from a different place entirely. It starts from the recognition that your body is an extraordinary piece of biological engineering that has been refined across hundreds of thousands of years of evolution. It is not broken. It is not your enemy. It is not something to be punished with exercise or deprived with extreme dieting. It is something to be honored, challenged, nourished, and trusted. When you train with that orientation, everything changes. The workout is no longer a punishment for eating too much last week. It is an expression of what your body was built to do. The fasting period is not deprivation. It is metabolic freedom. The cold shower is not torture. It is a conversation with your nervous system. The primal athlete embraces imperfection as part of the process. Some weeks you will eat perfectly. Some weeks you will not. Some training sessions will feel like you could run through a wall. Others will feel like the wall won and you went home. That is not failure. That is the oscillation of a biological system responding to an endlessly complex set of variables. Consistency over long time horizons is the only metric that matters. The caveman did not have a perfect week every week. He had a hard life, done as well as he could, day after day after day. Come home to yourself. We've covered a lot of ground today. We talked about why modern life has pulled us so far from our biological design and why that distance is at the root of so many of the chronic health struggles that define our era. We built primal training programs for every decade of life, from the explosive athleticism of the young athlete to the dignified vital power of the elder. We explored the profound simplicity of eating real food, fasting with intention, sleeping in alignment with nature, and managing stress through movement and environment rather than medication and distraction. And we talked about the mindset that holds all of it together, the deep, unshakable belief that your body is not broken. It is ancient, it is capable, and it is waiting for you to remember what it was built for. Going primal is not an extreme measure, it is the most natural thing you could possibly do. It is the act of removing the interference that modernity has layered over your biology and simply letting your body do what it has always known how to do. Train with your body, not against it. Eat food that came from the earth. Rest in the dark. Move through the world on your own 2 feet. Fast sometimes. Feast sometimes. Be cold sometimes. Be still sometimes. These are not sacrifices. These are the conditions under which human beings thrive. These are the conditions that produce the species capable of building every civilization that has ever existed. You carry that legacy in every cell. Honor it. That's a wrap on episode 106 of the Peak Performance Podcast. I'm Brad Young, and I'll be here next week with another episode built to make you better. Until then, train hard, eat real, sleep deep, and remember, you were never meant to be ordinary. You were built to be primal.